very good evening to all of you Counter-Strike fans. The ESL Pro League has returned and we've got more for you to look forward to. I'm your host for the evening, Alex Machine Richardson. I'm joined by Chad Birchill and Mr. Mitch Leslie, otherwise known as Uber. Gentlemen, 2 Australians on the desk. Has this happened before or are we making history today? Have you two been on an analyst?
I think first time. I don't think first time.
We're popping some shit. No.
What? We're supposed to be the Aussies on this desk, mate.
Not sure I was going. It's great to have you here, though.
G'day, mate. How you going?
Has Mitch lost his accent since he's moved over here?
He's much stronger than mine.
Yeah, but I've seen people say Mitch is losing his accent. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
It depends if I'm casting or talking normally. Yeah. Put on a bit of a voice, you know.
Yeah, but you do hang out with Chad. Like, I mean, I reckon it takes like an hour for you to reset back to full
Possibly.
Aussie. Yeah, goes full Aussie, which you should never do. Absolutely not. But either way, welcome, and we've got a fantastic show for you to look forward to. However, this isn't our first day of our 4th week here for ESL Pro League. So let's have a quick look back at what you did miss yesterday, because we did have a lot to dissect. It had a whole 8 games played on across 2 streams. We started with Fnatic and Virtus Pro, and albeit after a spectacularly close cobble, Dust was a very different story, leaving us here at the desk and at the caster desk rather deflated. Alongside that one, parallel to that, we saw FaZe and Mouse, and given the recent drop of their coach, Kassad, they seem to have hit the ground running, rocking a 16-6 and 16-3 scoreline across Dust2 and Mirage. And then moving into the second games, we got to see G2 and Dig, and again, against our better judgment here on the desk, we did actually see Dignitas find their footing in Dust2. Now, Chad, that wasn't something you expected. Your predictions, you made a joke about your predictions, suggesting you were not on form yesterday, but did Dignitas genuinely surprise you, or was it more G2 underperforming?
Well, the similar scorelines to what we saw them at the LAN on the weekend. But it was surprising to see, Dig pull out a map. It just looked like G2 didn't have anything to show on their CT side of Dust2.
It was.
I mean, Shox called it the biggest throw of his life later on there. So it's like, I don't know how you even throw a game like this. So obviously, Spirit's not high in the G2 camp up to that one.
I mean, you were casting it, right? Or it was 12,
no,
it was
that was
12-3 though. 12-3 half, if I'm not mistaken, on Dust2 to go ahead and see that squandered is obscene. Either way, that was just yesterday, and you've got a lot to look forward to today. But first, we're going to refresh our memory of how the standings do look, given we are now into our 15th match day. They are really just running away from us, but you can have a quick look and take that in, breathe that in. We've been talking an awful lot about Navi and their goose egg, not yet to concede a single map here in the Pro League, and quite the opposite for Flipside, yet to pick up a single victory. Just yesterday, Chad, I asked you if this reads as you would perhaps expect it to. Any surprises that weren't addressed yesterday? I feel like we haven't said a single word about Heroic.
Oh, well, they're obviously a team who's on the rise at the moment.
Yeah.
And they're known for being pretty good online. So they're 4-8. It's playing out fantastic for them right now, especially considering things. Astralis is one that you normally expect to be doing a bit better, sitting there at 4 and 6. But the top end, Mouse are normally pretty good. G2, they're up there, and FaZe, of course, running around headshotting people.
I don't know. Yeah, Heroic was an interesting series. The 2 best of ones yesterday, they went to overtime with Penta on the first map, and they actually lost out there. So, I mean, it speaks volumes for Penta now as a team who, bringing in Stefan, maybe seeing some improvement, and also a bit of an odd result for Heroic as a team who is constantly, I mean, we saw what they did to Astralis and Powerland. They were also consistently taking games, if not series, off Dignitas as well. So, I mean, the Danish scene's super interesting right now with the off-season before the Star Series finals, but I would have pegged them to be a little bit more convincing in that one. So a little bit interesting.
I mean, Penta's always a really kind of intriguing one because they got some surprise results already in the Pro League. They're not doing as awfully as perhaps some people would have anticipated, describing them as the free win team. Flipside have actually fallen into that category, it seems, sitting at 0 and 8. But I mean, have you ever had a chance to compete against these boys? Have they ever made tournaments that you were present at?
The Heroic guys?
Oh, Heroic, or I mean, the boys from Penta. It was just because it was intriguing. Neither of them really on many people's radar.
Did you play Penta at one of the group stages of one of the majors back as Vox Seminole?
I don't think so. I don't remember playing them. I don't think so. I don't think we've ever played Germans.
It was just worth going for a fish just to see. You never know. You might have had a really great story. That you could, no Penta stories. That's okay. Moving swiftly on, though, I haven't touched on what you have to look forward to today. He's talking of Danes. You will see some. In fact, you get to see a rather infamous affair, El Clasico, between NiP and Astralis. It has been evading the Danes for a while now. And alongside that one, you get yourself more Mouse Sports and Envy. Now, I'm actually really excited for Mouse Sports. I'm looking forward to, well, the coaching discussion. I'm looking forward to seeing if they can replicate the success. I mean, against FaZe yesterday, they managed to go ahead and pick up 2 map wins, and the enemy team, I think, only picked up 9 rounds between the two. Yeah. So that's a very convincing win versus a team that has been picking up convincing wins here in the Pro League, Mitch. It's kind of crazy to see how effective Mouse have just bounced back off this coach change.
Not only that, there as well, I think the first map where it was 16-6, it was Chris J. Oh, it was on Dust2. Chris J had a massive game, right? This is the player was saying, okay, why as Mouse Sports do you pick up a new AWPer and then you don't let your primary AWPer previously AWP at all, and now you force him to run out with the rifle? He was 19-0 and 9 for the game there. So a really I mean, I guess reassuring for himself and also people trying to keep tabs on his performance. So perhaps Chris J in time will be able to adjust into this role much better than we expected.
I mean, it does look a little confusing on paper, right, Chad? To put someone...
He's a good rifler. He's playing well as a rifler. So, you know, maybe he didn't like AWPing. You know, I know that seems stupid.
Well,
but
didn't you have this similar situation with your Yam, your Havoc, and your
well, I was talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
Like Yam and Havoc, they were both like AWPers within the team, and getting them at the same time, we wanted one of them to be the primary AWPer and one to be the secondary, and it kind of worked out that both were suited to the secondary role better.
You didn't have that primary presence. Okay.
Yeah, so it was always who decided they wanted to AWP, or you know who was feeling it, and that makes it relatively inconsistent. That's a bit of a problem. And Chris J, I suppose he was a similar kind of thing. Is more of an explosive AWPer, and if he's not hitting his shots and not doing his job in the team, then he's not a successful AWPer. So whereas Oscar, you know, you see him pick it up regardless, and he'll always go for those fights.
Someone who's no stranger to an AWP himself is Mr. Makalele, who is going to be here boasted by the NiP roster again, especially given their success fresh off the back of that victory over in the Star Series finals. Alongside them, Astralis, you know the boys by now. Kierby, of course, the most recent addition, but that was oh so long ago these days. It's not really worth repeating. But I think the discussion starts with NiP. This is where we have to just kind of... I think it's intriguing to return to the conversation we had yesterday, Chad, just a little bit. You seem to be very excited by the premise of Makalele playing under the NiP banner. You seem to feel like he added something different to Pit. Is that a criticism to Pit, or more of you just singing the praises of Makalele?
I just think the way Makalele works in this roster is really nice to see. You know, he's an explosive factor in that squad, and he adds something that they don't really have otherwise. Like, I think, you know, if we're talking about Pit in the team, he kind of has a little bit of that element, but not the same. I think if you look at NiP, they have 4 structured players in, you know, Freiburg, Forest, Exist, and Get Right. And then Makalele runs around and, you know, does whatever he wants, but within the confines of the team, he has a bit more freedom. And because he's a stand-in, he probably is just playing with a lot more, you know, confidence. Nothing really to lose.
Yeah, I mean, and this is an NiP that played at Star Series without threat. He wasn't present there. And also a really good tournament for Get Right and Forest, who in the last few months, generally speaking, haven't really been playing up to their usual standard. In fact, it was Get Right's first game where he clocked a rating, if you want to use the HLTV rating. It was his first game in a year where he's clocked over 1.1 as a rating. So obviously we would expect that sort of from a player. A Device, for example, who consistently sits around 1.2, 1.3, was he Get Right there, his first performance over 1.10 for the entire year. And that's what you wanted to see him especially getting, along with Forest, as those two were the 2 stalwarts for NiP and have been for so long.
Yeah, and then of course on the other side of things, you have the other Scandinavians, you have the Danes this time in the form of Astralis, who, I mean, the final between the two of them always seems to be eluding the Astralis boys. We saw a lot of angry tweets. There was hype. It was great because I wasn't able to watch the match, but I could just check on my phone, and I saw like, we took the first map, and then just lots of sad faces and nasty swear words coming out from Astralis. I worked it out myself.
I don't know what it is with them. They have such like a talented roster, and they always seem to struggle. Yeah. You know, they haven't really had that many fantastic results over the history of this roster, and I know it's changed a bit over the time, but Kierby hasn't yet brought anything fantastic to the team. He's a great player, but the team hasn't really evolved from where they were. Well, it doesn't look like they have. They don't have results to back that up.
It's really good to point that out, because obviously the map where they played Tai Lu, they did win it in the best of 3, but Overpass they lost, which is interesting given that is one of the more common maps for Astralis to play. They actually prefer to go over to that one. Lately it's been their most played, but you know, they're about to lose a pissed round. Kierby gets a 4K, and then they play a decent half at 9-6 or something like that, and then they get smashed on their CT side. Tyler completely run over the top of them there as well. So despite some of the individual performances of guys like Kierby when it's required, it's not really, you know, yet manifested in a consistent enough manner to give Astralis that top-tier performance that they've been looking for so long.
So, I mean, the discussion surrounding Kierby is a very intriguing one for me, just because I always feel like there's a different opinion regarding how long it takes for a player to fully integrate into a roster. So, some people suggest that it's like a 2-week process. Others suggest that it's a full 6 months before you're genuinely at your peak. What's your input for this one?
I guess it depends on how the in-game leader tries to integrate the player in the team.
Okay.
But if I was reading around on Twitter, they've had a couple of boot camps already. Like, you know,
they've been trying to grind, and it has
falling power, and they were straight back to it after that.
Yeah, and a boot camp accelerates that kind of stuff. You know, maybe sometimes it's negative, but you know, you're getting through a lot of stuff when you're in person, and you're all, you know, you're living together, and you're all in the same. You're talking about Counter-Strike nonstop, and you're doing a lot more. You know, that's your full focus for that full week or however long the boot camp is.
Right.
So you'd expect that to help accelerate it, and I think. I don't think it's nerves or anything like that. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it.
I don't think always boot camping is the answer.
No, not always.
What do you think about boot camps, Mitch? Because we've seen them work incredibly well. We've also seen them really fail.
A boot camp, I had a little bit of experiences actually managing some teams back in Australia. We put these guys in the house finally and wanted to sort of see an increase. But a boot camp gives you a lot of resources to work with, right? It gives you the environment. But if you don't actually have players that can capitalize on that fertile ground for improvement, if you have players that maybe aren't suited to living together, or maybe guys that have these frivolities, maybe that just sort of get on each other's nerves or something like that, it's there for the taking. But if you don't have a group of people that can make use of that, then it's not actually going to be that much of a benefit.
So where do the benefits lie then? Because I've heard the argument, I can't remember who it was from, but when I brought this discussion up before off air, and it's always been, yeah, but boot camps for ages ago, you know, if you rewind the clock a little bit, was because internet speeds were rubbish. People didn't have, you know, the best connections. Yeah, exactly. You know all about that. And so you basically get in one place, you could play on a LAN connection if you wanted to scrim with people, and that was the main reason, was that not only could you hang out with them, but also it was just to kind of get the optimal environment. Now that's not so necessary. What do you think your benefits are?
I think they do work. I think Mitch is spot on. It depends on the people who are involved in that environment. You know, you look at SK, for example, the best team in the world.
Smash it.
And they live together, and they love each other, and they love Counter-Strike, and they live and breathe it. But some people, maybe in the boot camp scenario, you know, they treat it maybe not the same passion. They're obviously passionate about it, but maybe, you know, they want to have it be more regimented, more like a job. Whereas I can see with SK, it would just bleed over into every aspect of their life, you know?
Well, they're playing football together pre-match. I mean, I love this kind of thing.
I mean, I spoke to Zeus at the Major about this as well, because we talked a little bit about the road for SK Gaming to get there. And he was saying things like, we had one double bed for like 3 people. You know, we did not have good conditions for living. We went through hard times as a unit. You know what I mean? And this is where we sort of forged our team chemistry in this kind of fire of, I guess, adversity, essentially. They didn't have a good setup before they really started to make the money.
I'm not making it up, am I? NiP did have a mansion at one point. Do you remember that?
I remember looking.
They still have that one.
They're not there.
They just go there when they boot camp before events, as far as I'm aware.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, because I remember looking through it rather enviously. Like, oh, just go walk at their local acre. You know, just go for a forest walk in my NiP forest.
Why not?
Hey! Oh! Didn't mean to do that. That was cool. I enjoyed that. No one else did. So it's time for predictions then, gentlemen. It does seem like Astralis' track record versus NiP hasn't been incredible, so I assume that's going to influence your decision. But the first map, I think we start on Dust2.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, hit me up. What have you got for me?
So looking at their result from the weekend, they played Dust2 and Overpass, which are the 2 maps we're going to see these teams play. The Dust2 game, you saw Freiburg playing really well for Ninjas. And then on the flip side of that, you saw Kirby having a bad game. I actually think Astralis is going to take this. And it's I'm just gonna. This is my thing. While I'm on the desk, I'm gonna get as many wrong as I can. So that's what I'm aiming for.
What are you? 1 at 4? 1 and 4? 1 and 5? No, that makes no sense. That's not how maths works, Alex.
1 and 3. Yeah. But I think Astralis will take Dust2.
Fuck, rock and roll.
Yeah. Far out.
Absolutely, mate.
Fudge.
Hit me up.
Holy. Okay, I mean, look, these guys, last 10 times these 2 have played against each other, it's been only 3 wins for Astralis. I think Dust2. I also think Astralis can take Dust2. It depends on Kirby, though, personally. I think Device is always going to be consistent. He reminds me of Cajun B. He's always a thorn in the side of teams with the AWP working long or wherever he has to. Kirby's a factor to be considered here, and I think they'll take it in a close one. But it's not a popular opinion, perhaps.
Absolutely not. Do let us know your opinion as well. Just quickly, hashtag ESL Pro League. Hit us up with that. Let us know how you feel it's going to be playing out. And if you can get your predictions even more wrong than Chad has, let us know. And, of course, at ESLCS as well. Right now, the casters are ready. Henry G and Sadiekiss are going to guide you through Dust2.
Yeah, we certainly are. It's going to be a good time. We got a little NiP and we got a little Ast. So I think this series is always fun because we saw it at Star Ladder as well.
That's a good intro from you. Thank you. Nice work.
Thanks.
Yeah, we did see it at Star Ladder. Very good game as well. Went all 3 maps. And Dust2 was one of the ones that went in favor of NiP. I think it was 16-11. Exist actually had a really... Oh, go on.
I guess you can carry on. I was just going to make the point that really drives home that series.
Go on, don't make it.
Well, Astralis lost to the team that won the tournament again. And they were winning 27-10 and ended up losing 28-7 immediately after. Like, that is like, we're almost... Nope.
Dropping off again. Well, yeah, Dust2 was actually one of the really interesting maps. It was when we saw NiP, that's probably what I thought they weren't going to pick it up. I thought Astralis would be guaranteed to pick that first, well, second map, I think, of the series. But still, it's Exist and Foros who had fantastic games on this one. And Exist, since he's taken back the in-game leading role especially, he seems like he's found some revitalization in terms of his gameplay. He's fragging, the team's winning. Seems like he's in a great place right now. He's obviously got the backup and threat working out as well. Astralis, it was a reasonable tournament for them. Could have been a lot better. Obviously, losing to Heroic to open things up meant they actually faced Na'Vi in the lower bracket and actually managed to overcome that. And then it was NiP that finally said goodbye to them. But Dust2, always an interesting map, especially when it's online. Difficult to predict which way this will go. I would say I'd probably favour NiP. But this is interesting now, Matt, because obviously Michael, people are speculating when he actually comes into the team in more of a full-time capacity. I'm not saying he's joining full-time at the moment. He's practicing with them. It's not such short notice. They're going to be a bit more, I guess, structured. They've had time to play again. I know they're practicing today. We'll see how this goes down. I'm not really sure what the outcome is once he comes into the fold a little bit more regularly. Obviously, the tournament just passed. He was definitely just a last-minute stand-in. But here we go then.
Yes, he was a last-minute stand-in, and I think Yanko said it in his AMA. Like, it's very different to play without the pressures. It's different to be on the team, but you think that result, like, it's hard not to want to keep him on the team, especially as a fan, especially for us to say. But there's so much more that goes into it. This boost, they're waiting for it. And Michael Lilly, I think he spotted it before he came through the door. He must have.
Doesn't look like it's a normal boost to go check for. That's
I think
interesting.
He must have spotted the animation when they jumped up. That's X-ray's misleading because it's really dark, so we don't actually know what he could see, but that's impressive.
Yeah, well, he's confident. We said it all weekend. He was looking very sharp in Kiev, and he kicks things off with that first frag, pushing up to top middle. He's done the hard work at this point. CT's the man advantage. Don't really have to do much more at this stage. Full back. Michael Eddy with a risky play top middle by himself, but Device with the Desert Eagle. We've been discussing this recently. It seems to be coming into the break quite a lot this time, and this time it's not going to actually work out with Device. He gets taken down by Get Right. Aggressive with the USP. 5-on-3 now. Carrigan taking some damage as well. Same story for Zipex, but Michael Eddy finally being headshot down to 3.
And it's going to slow it down again considerably, but look at this position. Taps away, misses the first one, does damage to Zipex, but he has to get out of this. He's got to reload and fall away. Does manage it at least to get around the corner. This will save him for a second longer, but that's it. Now we're back to a 3 versus 3. Zipex might have been tagged out of all that, but Michael Lilly is still far worse for wear. 2-1 split from the defensive side. They've got both Michael Lilly and Freiberg over toward A, and it's going to be inside of B, forced alone, waiting on the platform, and no real indication as of yet. When the terrorists are going outside of middle, you'd expect it to be B. Yeah, well, it's just Forrest there by himself. With USP, 3 players to find. He needs to get at least 1 kill for this round to be possible for his teammates on a retake. That's pretty much all he can gather. Let's see how he gets on. Well, he's down already. Does manage to pick up 1, though, as you say. So Michael Lilly with 3 HP again. I have to mention it, as he's got the armor but not the kit. Has to try and make this work for Freiberg, who's 100 with no armor. And he's going to go in early, gets information at least that they're stacked up in the right side of the site. 1 on the back platform and 1 immediately behind the boxes. He's going to try and isolate this double box, is saving him from the opposition that would have been Dupree peeking, but he still goes down to Carrigan. So 1-0 for Astralis, despite Michael Lilly spotting some incredible boost at the start of it. We have to say, though, Exist, he's the reason they lost that round. He was behind 2 of them, maybe 3, and he had plenty of time to go for the initial headshot. And obviously the USP, it's a bit of a cruel mystery. Sometimes you do miss the first couple of shots, can be difficult to recover, but he definitely should have done better in that situation. And it's going to be Astralis recovering that pistol round after being a 5-on-3 as well, and Exist with that fantastic positioning. Completely outplayed them in terms of the awareness of the map, but it's going to be a semi-forced by NiP. Not getting armor, but Get Right, just about to mention, he's got the scout. Actually rips off the head of Device there. So he does take some damage for his troubles, but ultimately did find that first kill as Deagle's still around him. Michael Lilly presumably will be opening in on the CT side. He's just got a USP. Dupree pushing out middle right now. Got to try and cover off either side. They've got an AK towards CT with no smoke on it just yet. That comes after because they've got the range advantage. They know that with the rifles, so you might as well try and get a pick where you can. Now they'll follow it up. Left side smoke as well. That's going to prohibit Forrest from trying to get a shot toward the mid doors. Carrigan, Mac 10. Is he going to go full spider monkey and jump towards spawn? Could do. Get Right's got problems. He's down to 17. But still, though, the HP and the first kill on the way of NiP could still be a very significant factor. No armor is a bit of a problem, though, when you really start to consider, especially against this Mac 10 from this range, even if it becomes lethal as Dupree. He'll take Michael Lilly, and there it is. Kerrigan will fire away and find Exist. Speaking of fire, they flame the site. They'll push anyone back, and it'll make things all too easy to go for the plant, I'd say. Henry? I think so. At this stage, NiP need to work out what the options are at this point. Forrest tries to push through middle, and he had a Deagle to well with no armor. It's going to be Kiabi. Just mows him down. Doesn't really need the most amount of skill there to pick up that kill, but Freiberg looking to see what he can find here towards T-spawn, but all he does find is a headshot from Kiabi. Once again, that's his second kill of the round. Get Right, who opened things up with the scout headshots.
He's going to be on 17 HP and holding towards T-spawn. So Astralis lost the first pick, but just had such an advantage in terms of the firepower and the unarmored CTs to find. Was a pretty easy affair for them getting towards that A side. Get should be dying here as well. Almost certainly going to go down. There it is. Carrigan finds him with the Mac 10. Jumping, of course. And it's going to be a pretty clean start for Astralis. That pistol round is haunting me a little bit, just thinking about Exist in the back, but...
Yeah,
that was the
it's also
point.
so painful when you watch it. Like, it looks so easy. It's all too tantalizing, and then you fire away and you realize that...
As soon as you miss the first 2 bullets, the panic starts setting in, then you start firing back.
Well, and the element of surprise is long
yeah,
gone.
of course. I just feel like at that point they had such a huge advantage. He just needs to fall the hell back there. But this is going to be one of those redundant rounds. A lot of damage done towards Zipex, but he finds 2 kills at the same time. Going to smoke himself into a safe position to try and get the hell out of this one. Can't do it though. Michael finds him, and that's going to be one of the weapons dropped. Only UMP though.
Yeah, exactly that. Has device on. A Mac 10 going to push down middle and try and use that movement mechanic. Doesn't know, but seems to be fairly positive that Getright's gone into that corner, given that he heard footprints, steps. I'll always confuse that. Towards CT spawn, and there it is. He's going to flush him out. That's going to allow them to line it up. And Device gets both, including his shot with the deagle onto Michael. Before that, we didn't quite see it as we snapped away. 3-0, and now we get the guns drawn for NiP, and it's going to be immediately the AWP on to Michael.
Yeah, they didn't force heavily into that second round. They got 1 scout and a couple of deagles. Didn't get armor. You can see how better equipped they are than most teams in this situation. They have the AWP with armor as well. They have smokes, a couple of incendiaries. Getright's gone for the UMP, but he's definitely one of the players that can make that weapon do some great things here. 3 players towards B, though. This isn't an orthodox setup. That suggests to be aggressive here at the start, especially with Getright with the SMG in hand. Will be 3 players for Astralis, making their way towards lower B. Device holding top of mid, and Zipex working long. This is actually a simple strategy. Walking out towards mid, they know actually the NiP setup isn't going to allow them to find anything or approach here at the start. And Forrest, he's the first player to drop by himself out the window.
Double smoke. I always hate seeing that just because it indicates that there is a bit of miscommunication. Nearly a missed shot from Exist, but he pulls it back, manages to cover off Carrigan as well as he pushes out. Smoke back in. They've left the site. They've vacated it to hold down middle, and that's going to allow them back through with the flash inside of the smoke and get right in the window. How much for that dog in the window? The one with the waggly tail.
Yes, indeed. Lovely play from there. Getright Exist to kick things off after Forrest goes towards that window area. I thought that's round over. Astralis with a simple approach. You normally do bring those to the table in the first going round when the CTs are a little bit weaker. They walk out towards middle. Forrest gets caught out, but Exist holding outside the B doors manages to get a double spray down, and Getright goes 1 step further. All headshots of the AK-47 from the window area. Lovely stuff by him. Money's still available for Astralis, but Zipex on the scout. We've seen him use that weapon time and time again, especially in Kiev. He was buying it on a lot of their eco rounds, but this time he's going to be accompanied by Device's AWP. It looks like some sort of B-play will be coming into the fold as Dupree and KRB make their way towards tunnels, but Getright, he's getting aggressive, using that deepest motor, allow him to have a bit more control of the situation, take some speculative shots there towards the tunnel entrance, but we'll be falling back at this point. That's actually slowed down Astralis significantly. They're going to have to maybe expend some utility to get in there.
Carrigan just going to work down toward mid position with that AK in hand, but Forrest has actually found Dupree first. That's over toward B. So the default seems to be from Astralis, at least thus far. Again, we are pretty early on in this, but to try and get picks more aggressively toward B side. Oftentimes we'll just see them hold anchor tunnels so that CTs can't push through, but Dupree gets aggressive once more. Getright's going to go back in. They nearly catch a second player as that flash caught Zipex in full duration. He's on a scout as well, so it would have been a battle worth taking.
Look how far removed he is from his teammates as well. He's all the way outside the B tunnels. They're trying to work their way towards A, and he's only got that scout as well, so it does upgrade to an AK-47. That's probably a very wise move considering the situation. His teammates maybe doing an AXQ here. Smoke's going in. They've got that towards CT spawn as well, and that's actually going to be Michael missing that first shot. So distracted by the drop down as well. Device takes him down. 3-on-3. Astralis to manage to pull it back.
He only saw the gun barrel. That's why he had to shuffle positions. It was a really well done drop, but that is a lovely shot from Freiburg. Device's head gets torn off when not much of it was even showing to fire at. It's going to be Getright getting Kierby. And despite Michael troubles and the entrance coming in from Catwalk, you'd think Astralis, you hit that first 2 shots on the way through. Sights theirs for the taking. They're a 1 versus 3. Bomb's still planted here. Zipic's going to flash around, but the counter flash is perfectly timed. They're not on the bomb just yet, but they are going to smoke him off, force him out. It's low HP on Getright, but Forrest fires accurately back through the smoke.
Lovely stuff there. Astralis doing what they can, getting the bomb down towards shore. It's actually a pretty decent effort, all things considered. Michael is so distracted by the drop down. His Device waiting for the shot to be fired, then he comes around, takes him on. But some great aim there. Freiburg from the pit especially. What a shot that was in the sight. Another great game from him, potentially coming in. Probably the best form we've seen him in probably a couple of years in Kiev, Matt, I would say.
Yeah, you know what? I absolutely think so. I think it was a long time coming, to be fair. And if not, it was going to be a long time removed, if you know what I mean. Like, the time was nigh, if you know what I keep saying you know what I mean, but you know what I mean. It was so close. There was so much criticism on him. And I think he had to show up. He had to turn up or get out. It's that simple, especially when Michael Lilly's showing up.
The tournaments he turns up at, they actually end up winning as well. So
yeah,
it was great. It was great to see, actually. You know, like, it was actually quite nice just see him not having a bad event for once, which is normally the storyline, but great for him, actually. Great performance in the final as well. But we get into this one. Astralis will be on a pretty much full eco here. Desert Eagles, P250s, no nades. Just trying to work out the map and seeing what the stacks may lie with the CTs. Nothing towards middle, but they're going to have to try and just run boost. We've seen this a lot recently. It's just to try and get that distraction down. The first shot fired from the AWP. It works perfectly, but Michael Lilly's light vision shooting just takes down that first shot. Oh, okay. USB finishes things off as well.
Honestly, I think we've seen that run boost. I think everyone's just doing it this season. It seems to be like the throw in the towel. Yeah, exactly. I've never seen it work. We've seen it like 7 times, and every time it's honestly just like, might as well try it. Like, there's no real, like you say, it might bait out an op shot, but there's nothing really to accomplish with it.
Yeah, I guess as soon as they miss the shot, that's when everyone starts pouncing around. You get a bit closer to the bomb site. So that's the only thing I can really think of. It may give you a plant every now and then.
But you are throwing that guy to the flames because he's instantly that far out, nowhere to hide.
Yep.
Even if they miss one shot, he's still so vulnerable. Unless he makes it all the way to quad somehow, like nails a bunny hop on landing, but that would be pretty hard to do.
Well, it's going to be the double AWP setup this time. Michael Lilly and Forest, quite a tantalizing duo now, considering what we saw from Michael Lilly. And get right, does hear some footsteps towards the tunnel. So he's going to boost himself up, and Kirby makes his way towards lower. It looks like another B split for Astralis. Normally their go-to play. They actually try and feel out towards middle of the start, and you can see NiP, no real presence there, no AWP. Going to be trolling that area. It's actually Forest towards the back of B. It'll be kind of adjusting. This is a really nice setup, though. You can see Get Right. He's focusing towards the doors area, and now they're going to be trying to swap things up as Forest goes towards the window. He'll be trying to get that first kill down. As soon as he gets it, all for the rotations.
Ooh, that X-ray, man, it's so, like, it's so tempting. You just want to fire through. You want to grab the player's mouse for him and do it, but he didn't know. Unfortunately, Get Right's going to fall as well after Kerrigan gets the entry through onto him. It's now a bomb down inside of the B site. We know it's the harder site to retake. Look at his position inside of tunnels, but Xyp9x gets caught before he gets outside, before he heads back to T-spawn. That's going to give Freiburg a chance to distract. That's his best opportunity right now, is 19 HP. Doesn't even get the Molotov off. You can see it's still extinguished on the floor, but not broken down. As exists. There's a thought for you. If a Molotov's in someone's hands and they fall, the glass shatters and it lights on flame, Martyrdome style. That'd be a little bit too much, I think. Regardless, Michael Lilly finds device, and they've succeeded. So that all comes down to finding Xyp9x early on and getting information that the second player was toward the tunnels as well, that they had the opportunity to try and push in from the doorway, and they pulled around back. So 4-3 now for NiP.
Can you imagine the kind of chaos that would cause of your idea? Like, say you're about to about to defuse the bomb, and your teammates are coming in, you're trying to throw a Molotov towards like upper platform on train, and you get shot, then you just can't defuse the bomb. It's like, well,
your team's messed. Your team's messed.
Yeah.
It's just funny because I saw the little flame where the animation still was. It would be a little bit much, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be NiP managing to finish things off there. 4 rounds in a row for them after losing the pistol as well. Seems like business as usual for this. You tweeted out the other day the definition of Nemesis. I assume you're alluding to this matchup, right?
Yeah,
Why
I mean,
don't you explain what it is?
So Nemesis, it was because Paul used the word rival, and it's not a rival. A rival, you know, that's an opposition that you face regularly, commonly. You have good back and forth battles with. You create this storyline. A Nemesis is an opposition that you cannot overcome. Someone who has your number, that is literally your enemy, and you cannot beat them no matter what you do. And on LAN, it's been 300, the day that they lost, it's been 364 days. Now it's more than that, whatever, 6 days beyond. But it was 364 days since Astralis last beat NiP on LAN.
Wow. That is quite
that is a nemesis.
Yeah, I'd say that's absolutely accurate. Well, we've got a technical
And then
pause.
OJ Borg put in the nice reference from Snatch as well.
Oh, yeah, I saw that as well.
That's
Bricktop.
lovely. Yeah, that is a very good reference.
Yeah, that's a very good scene, actually. I like that.
But yeah, no, this on again online, it's very different. So tonight I wouldn't have made a prediction based on that, but that is a.
Well, is that, like, if you're analysing this game, right? You can only really base it on what we've seen recently.
That's 100% true.
So, like, obviously it's an online game and it's different, but like, if we're going to analyse it properly, that's all we really can do. So I'd say you have to favour NiP going into this one. Astralis definitely on the best form right now. They've had boot camps and they've had LANs, and we're hoping it's all going to come together. Like, you'd like to see them do well. You can see they're a very emotional and passionate team. As a player-owned org as well, you want to see them have success, but still turbulent times. Lots of ups and then plenty of downs to go along with it as well.
Yeah, totally.
But here we go. Then there is a technical pause. Hopefully we don't have similar scenes to what we had last night. Just a mouse issue, I believe, Matthew. So it's actually not going to take too long. I'm not sure how you get a mouse issue halfway through a game.
I know how you can get one. I just don't think that's how you would do it in this game. I don't think there's been anything to insinuate that.
Maybe it's not the computer mouse. Maybe he's actually got a mouse that's on the loose in the house.
Oh, good point.
So you never know.
There's a lot of little moles in Cologne, I've noticed.
Moles?
Yeah, like little tiny like field mice, like the smaller
right,
ones.
yeah, I know what you mean,
Whereas
yeah.
in Halifax, where I'm from, there's rats. Much like
We
Stockholm.
have plenty of those in London as well, don't
Yeah,
we? Plenty
yeah.
of those.
Yeah, but I was going to say I've had a mouse issue in the middle of a game before.
Go on.
I just smashed it.
Oh, after dying, it's completely smashed it against the wall.
Just
Something.
completely destroyed. Well, it wasn't completely destroyed, but it was
Broken, of course.
pretty damn near.
I used to do that when I was younger. When I was like 16, 17, I couldn't quite control my anger at the time. I couldn't actually express it properly. Like I used to have this wall in front of me. Like I used to like punch it. And I did that for like a year or so. Then I realized like one day, like, what, that actually really hurts. I actually feel worse if anything. So might stop doing that. And it didn't.
I remember the year that I was playing in like the finals of the league that I was in, and we were struggling, and my ex-girlfriend was over because she was friends with my roommate, and she walked to my door and said, "We need to talk." And I remember dying as she said that. And my landlord the next day came over and noticed I hung a new picture on the wall, and I said, "Yeah, I just thought it looked good there." He said, "That's a weird place to hang it." And when I moved out, he realized why I hung it there.
Massive hole in the wall.
Oh, yeah.
It will be now.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Well, hopefully that's not happening in the Astralis camp right now. After winning the pistol and getting the 3-0, they have lost 4 rounds in a row, and there was a technical pause as well. We're looking at Dragon Lore right now. A little bit battle scarred, that one. But
And a Vulcan.
And a Vulcan, yeah.
Yeah. Surprised Star Wars or Star Trek, whatever, hasn't sued yet.
Star Trek, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. A bit more data for you. It's been pretty clean rounds for the opening 3 for Astralis. Then NiP. Been some tight ones there, but that's all 5 and 2 again. So there's been decent retakes for the looks of things for NiP, really.
That's the thing.
Overall.
Two that took defuses, which does mean at least Astralis are getting into the sites, getting the bombs down, but their post-plant not the greatest. You think back to that 1 versus 3 where Michael Lilly goes down first, and then inside the A site, they lose on a retake before they can even get set up. So NiP's been quite fast on their retakes. That's the other thing as well. If you look at the B retake, they were there within 5 seconds of the bomb going down, which indicates that the rotations have been pretty good. So getting good early information, I would say, is what NiP's been up to.
While we're here, I'll have a look at Spawn and see what kind of buy we've got for the terrorists.
I used to like, Rush, if you could bring that back up. I know we're about to get back into it. I used to like that you could bring up the average, total utility. Yeah, you can bring up the average equipment value. You can't do that anymore because I used to like it to know how many times they saved, so you can see when they force buy and stuff like that, but it's a little bit different now.
Damage dealt.
Yeah, that's like if you throw nades.
Interesting. Well then, round
That
of
one I
eight.
don't think is as useful.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a pretty decent buy for Astralis, lacking in utility, as we just mentioned. So there's going to be Carrigan with no nades whatsoever, 4 smokes available, and just 1 Molotov. Molotov's actually very important in Dust2 for flushing out the A-bomb site, holding off post-plant situations as well. And it's just that single orb setup for NiP. So after keeping 2 players live in the previous round, they are struggling a little bit more than they were before. Double orb setup's probably optimal for Dust2, I would say. Forrest close towards mid this time. He hasn't got an orb, but he's looking for that first kill. Carrigan takes him down, though, boosting himself onto Xbox and using the flashbang efficiently as well. Device finds get right. So surely a gun round arriving here for the Danes. Surely.
Device just watching this. That flash, the timing, you would have thought maybe a chance to hit the shot, but he can't find it, and now he's going to adjust. Michael Lilly's not going to go back and reface that. 2 men down. He's got to come up large inside of this B site if they go that direction. That's the other indicative factor in all of this, because
the thing is as well,
they aren't that direction.
They would have seen the AWP in his hands or at his back as he was crossing there, so they know. And also on the B side, at least, I think it's probably safer bet to go towards A, try and pincer it. It's exactly what they're doing right now. You can see Carrigan, Zipex, and Device working towards long. Once they have the long control as well, they really can start bullying this A side. It's got backup from Dupree as short as well. Exist in a horrible position. Frybeck needs to go absolutely massive here. Finds the first kill. Actually repositions to a decent angle. Right, he's going to be backing his teammate up as well. NiP are actually pulling this one back 3-on-3 now. They know where the last remaining terrorists are, but it's going to be Device finding that up shot through the box and towards Exist.
It was very hesitant from Astralis to wrap back around that corner, and as you say, Freiburg getting out of it. Is he going to be spotted here, though? Kirby definitely knows he's there. We saw some damage coming through the smoke as a result, but it's Michael Lilly. Well, the distraction comes in to find Kirby. Jump shot from Freiburg, and NiP pull this back to a 2 versus 2, and Freiburg still using the smokes at the top of the ramp to his own advantage, is trying and getting the kill on Zipix. As he falls down, it's all for naught. He's gone before he hits the ground. That's on the device. He's got full HP, but he's got an AWP to try and hold this off.
Shot.
One shot allows the cross. Like you say, good catch onto Freiburg, but they're on the defuse, and Michael Lilly's holding it. Oh, inside of the smoke device! Why is he going for the no-scope? He's just throwing away the round in that way.
I think he got himself a little bit confused jumping into the smoke. He definitely had time just to go along the ramp and
it was definitely panic.
Yeah, when he got into the smoke, he confused himself, and like you said, the no-scope, I think at that point it's probably 50-50, right? You just know you need to get that shot as quickly as possible. The full defuse comes, and that was a 5-on-3 from Astralis. Let's have a look. Oh, I missed that one. Maybe we can get a replay in some dead time. I want to see and try and work it out properly later on, but we're still back into it. The bomb planted for Astralis. I think they're a maximum loss bonus now. Yeah, 5 rounds in a row. So it will be no AWP for Device. It will be 5 AK-47s, forcing this one after the plant. So going to be going quickly towards A this time. Not messing around here at all. Got some short control as well, but Michael Lilly, he was so strong in this position, only finds one this time, and another advantage for the Danes. Surely they can convert this one to a victory.
We'll see if they can. It's going to be Kirby getting forced down. They've come so close, so many times, but thankfully they keep 4 alive, because now we're into reset territory with the 5 rounds that went to NiP.
Yeah, definitely. You see, even after those close runs, let's just have a look. When he jumps into the smoke, that's the interesting part for me here. This is where he gets a bit confused. He's like, okay, what am I doing? What am I doing? Come out, and you can see he fires before he had enough vision of the TT properly. He was just trying to end it as quickly as possible. He didn't really know he had how much time he had there going on. Yeah. It was quite far away from the situation as the defuse came in. So fair enough, like he just tried to end it. If it would have worked out, it looked spectacular. But no scope's definitely not 100% efficient. As we go into round number 10, it will be NiP forcing into this one. After winning 5 rounds in a row, the money is tied up, so it goes to show you how tight some of these rounds have been. It's going to be a UMP of 5-7, a Scout, a single AWP, 1 kit, and pretty much no grenades. It's Freiburg just on the pistol, so surely around Astralis here can really get back into this game. It's been difficult in the last 5, but that was a big one to pick up. Number 4.
Dupree at the top of the ramp. Already out middle. They're very fast against NiP inside of this B site. Get right. We've seen him play those positions time and time again to pull things back. Unfortunately, gets caught in the corner this time. I can't remember who it was I saw Get right at the start of 2015 ring info. I think it might have been Orbit at the time. And I remember him playing against that fence and getting like 2 5Ks in a row. And it was like, come on, you got to figure it out by then. But Dupree getting out middle that quickly, not much they can really do about it. Michael Lilly, he'll burn down to 64, 45, spray through the boards or the box, whatever it really is, doesn't matter. Dupree gets the headshot. It's gonna go 5-5. So 2 in a row again. They had the efficiency, they kept 4 alive, and then they avoid the reset altogether. They've actually built up almost a round in hand here on this T side. And in doing so, they've broken down NiP. So now they get a chance to try and go on a run. Very good economy management in that sense, that 4 alive round big. And Dupree, he's going to try and take it to them with the MAC-10 to get an advantage even further. Forrest is tagged, 34 HP for him as he crosses.
Yeah, Forrest having a pretty rough time in the B side of the map here, but Dupree, like you said, with the MAC-10 does get the first shot, but he gets taken down to 9 HP. Freiburg finishes him off there. It's just USP for the CT, so if they can find any kills here, that would be fantastic. Freiburg does manage to salvage the MAC-10, but the B side should be occupied by the terrorists at this point. Kiabi is looking like he wants to push a little bit further as he jumps out the window. Gets a little bit hairy for him, but he manages to lock down the 2 kills. Just Freiburg remaining with the aforementioned MAC-10 towards top and middle right now. Trying to see if he just wants 1 kill this map, basically, so he gets another $600 on top of his 300 he picked up with the USP kill. That's the optimal outcome of this scenario. Will they be buying next round? There'll be a first stage to get 2,400. Won't be a fantastic buy, but there'll be enough to get rifles together at least. If Freiburg finds a MAC-10 kill, he can potentially drop over an AWP.
Yep. That would be the perfect scenario. However, going up these stairwells, Kerrigan with an AK, staring it down. Zipix, though, chance he's going to fire in this. Spray down, he's desperate, chases that single target, please.
Ambitious, but I guess it's worth it in the end. If it would have worked out, it would have been pretty funny. So you can see Freiburg does have 3750, like I said. If he just got that shot, it maybe would have justified him dropping the AWP. I think he'll get a rifle and grenades. It's going to be more beneficial to the team. Michael, you can see them discussing it right now. Michael hasn't bought at this point. They were maybe speculating the idea, but it's going to be 4 rifles and get right back on the UMP. And Astralis now getting right back in this game and taking the advantage as well. 6-5. I feel like these online games do normally go to 30 rounds, Matt, and I think this will be no different because very back and forth so far, and this is the breaking point for Ninjas once again.
Kirby as well. Inside the middle. He had a better tournament for them. Again, it's hard when they crush out the way they do, but they had the hardest road. We said that. If they'd have made the final, Astralis, it would have been an unbelievable run, considering they would have gone against Na'Vi, Tyloo in what was a great series. Mirage especially was very good. Boosted in this corner, we don't see this often, but it's going to give the advantage to toward Headshot. Again, he's going to miss that shot early on, and this time doesn't back away. I thought he was. I totally thought he was gone. Unfortunately, he loses it. He gets caught out just by one step. Manglelli immediately grabs the smoke and covers it off. But yeah, then they go Tyloo. Then they get NiP. If they had to beat NiP, it would have been Cloud9, which was also in fine form, and then the final.
You have to remember, the first game they had was heroic, and they should be the number one team in Denmark, right? So you'd expect them.
That's another 0-4 situation right now against heroic on LAN as of late. So things are definitely stacking against them. The LAN performances are not ever surmounting to much. NiP's pulling this back, though, in this situation. They've got the man advantage now on Freiburg and Michaelelli. It's going to be Dupree, though, late coming around in middle and at least get right back. However, Freiburg, immediately after, takes down one, and now he's got a second on his Ipix. It's going to be the round over for NiP to pull it back 6-6, and that's on the first and only buy they had available to them. They would have been back to no guns in the next, so they commit to it. They don't go for the early save, having found the pick immediately after the plant. But as said, Astralis had a round built up, so we should be guns drawn either side, and easily so for Astralis, AWP as well. Yeah, we spoke to Freiburg last week, actually, and we said, like, what is there that's changed? Why do you think you're playing better now? He said, well, I'm actually starting to play as much as I should. I need about 100 hours every 2 weeks to actually enable myself to be a top player. I wasn't doing that before. I didn't have the same passion. Now all I want to do is win, and it's evident. You can see he's a much better player. It wasn't just a flash in the pan in Kiev. Seems to be being his old self once again, finding good retakes and good spray patterns and just being in the right positions at the right time as well. So it's great to see him performing on this level again. It's going to be 6-6 as we're going to round number 13. Orbs drawn for both sides. Michaelelli is going to be towards that A ramp once again. Seems to be his favourite position. Hasn't been really moving around too much. And a decent grenade to kick things off as well. That should do a ton of damage. It absolutely does as well. Takes two players down to around half. He is gifted the opportunity to get the headshot there, but Carrigan blows his head off. And now it's going to be a fast A-take going for that short plant. Two players stacked up on corner. That flash is going to hold him in, but Carrigan has rounded the site. Forrest, though, pulled it back, goes down. Carrigan decides he's not going to allow Forrest any more freedom. He's going to go in and chop down the cheese himself. He pulls the lumberjack. It's going to get the kill onto him, and the Molotov off toward Catwalk as well. Get Right's going to be very limited trying to get back up toward the bomb in time. The second one, though, goes deep. And he figured this out. So if they throw it that deep, they have no idea that he's here. And Get Right, that's the perfect read against the second Molotov. Now it's all the Zipic stuck on top of the site as well. Player in the smoke is going to relay information, goes for a repeat, will go down. It's Exist. That's taking him to 10 HP, though, and that's going to give Get Right a chance. Just hits the headshot. That's all he had to do. He didn't even have to do that, to be fair. Lovely intelligent play there from Get Right. Like you said, first Molotov goes down on the corner. That's designed to stop CDs pushing around. And Astralis is like, okay, we've got that one. We can throw it a little bit deeper this time. And we've got lots of time, lots of control. Get Right's already snuck past the first one. And he's just waiting for it as well. I think he's reading that situation very nicely. Good work with the AK-47 from Forrest as well. Had he got that third, that would have been godlike. But two was enough. And Get Right finishes things off with the 1v1 versus Zipex. So the bomb planted, there still is enough cash for Astralis to buy into number 14. Still these very tight rounds. And okay, I thought that wasn't going to be a kill then. Seemed there was a little bit of a delay, but Michael does go down to the start, facing towards top of mid. Did he have an AWP? Oh yeah, he did. I can see it. So that goes down. Hasn't been recovered just yet. Well, it's hard to recover it as well when you see an AK spraying at it repetitively. Forrest wants it there, you can see it. Yeah, he definitely does. Double flash, push, push, push. Thank you very much. You can have my AK. I don't want. And they're going to boost up the M4 against Firebox inside CT. This will be the one to try and do damage when they push through. If they push through onto middle, we always have to put that if in there. Dust2 is hard to read the default as to where it's going until we see the picks start to come in. And with one, the split defense, it's oftentimes not enough. You got to get a read on if you're going to try and split middle. If they've got a player toward the B site for a 2-2, or are they doing a 2-1-1? And right now it is the 2-1-1. It is. With the 5-on-4 going for that long retake. It's just Freiburg. We've been singing his praises. This is the position you're going for one kill, and then you're dropping down in the pit as well. He's using that ledge. It's a difficult angle to pre-fire. Not all terrorists will hit this first shot. And there it is. Now it drops down. Surely drops down. There it is. And now he's just trying to buy time with the flashbangs. Device. He's got Freiberg back, but Forrest is just going to watch toward long right now as Exist is working up against that quad position. Molotov down. Now, I know Exist that was thrown in from the corner, but having lost long, he's got to play from elevator. He's got nowhere to move. And that's going to allow Kara getting Cajun B. Kara getting KRB to set up a crossfire. That double K is going to mess with me for the rest of time, but it is going to be Get Right. And look at the HP. Get Right goes for the jump. That's going to leave him vulnerable, though. And KRB's the one to hit the shot. It's low enough that a stray bullet would have done it on that jump, but unfortunately, it's going to leave it to 7-7. So a very close first half, considering what we said as well. NiP having the economy broken in reverse. They're going to have to force buy into this now.
Yeah, well, it all kicked off on that initial pick there. Michael Eddie knew the team was up against it really with the buy they had available with Famises, the single AWP, a couple of M4s, not much utility. He goes to the mid face. Doesn't work out for him. They lose that man advantage, and Astralis play it very nicely. Default to start. Long retake. Freiberg can only find one. That's not going to be enough. And they pin set the A-bomb site and shut it down. And we go into round number 15, 7-7. It's almost guaranteed that Astralis should pick this up with the CZs and 5-7s only available for NiP. Michael on the Max 7. You can see he's towards City Spawn right now, looking for those jump shots. But potentially going to be a B play here as we look at the radar right now. The bomb is down towards T-Spawn. It's outside the B tunnels, and we have got Device and Kiabi waiting for a CT mistake to be made. At this stage, the idea, the methodology is just to be thinking about, okay, wait and see if any CTs go aggressive at the start. If we don't get any information in that manner, we'll push up, start dissecting the map until we get some contact, and we'll go back towards B and get right in a forest, work out their options way up, whether this push is going to be worth it.
Michael, jumping shotgun in the corner. The gopher hole. It's going to be KRB going out toward B, though. Get Right is there. He's right to assume, but wrong in his execution. Now we do see Michael trying to find that jump. That leaves him so exposed. And he'll spar off with Kerrigan as he jumps forward. Take the fight directly to him. He goes down to 39 HP, though, and unfortunately, he's lost Forrest. Now his Device has got the opening kill, but Exist. Same thing as the pistol round. We're going to bookend the half with the play out mid. Out long late. Dupree's waiting for it. He's got the kill. It's going to be Get Right only with one in return, and he's left the B site doing it. It's going to allow a bomb plant to come in for Astralis. And him gone leaves just Freiberg. AK-47, yes. Kit, no. Armor, yes. Health, no. His Device finds the kill.
I'm glad we cleared that up.
Yes.
Well then, Astralis do win the first half 8-7. They picked up the pistol, but NiP fighting back pretty impressively with 5 rounds in a row. They did all the rounds are very tight, so the economy never really got going for them. As soon as they lost one round, back to that reset, and we saw a bit of a struggle from that point. And yeah, some very good retakes overall from NiP. Still think this game's on a knife edge. It could go either way. I think we should come back after a break and find out.
How many ADD people did screw in a light bulb?
Don't know.
Oh, look, a squirrel. Welcome back, guys. It is the Nemesis battle. You mentioned it. We're not on land, so it's a little bit different. And I have to say, Astralis, 8-7 first half.
Yep.
Won the pistol, got 3 rounds, lost 5 in a row. Arguably 3 of them very close. Got bombed down, but couldn't hold the post plant. But then they did get control of the half. They broke the economy down of NiP, and then it was back and forth from that point. Now they've got a chance on a CT side that hasn't been as strong as the Cajun days. I'm still going to go that far back, and I have to point it out because that was the very...
I even heralded
task.
them as the best CT team on Dust2 at one point. In the TSM days when they were at their top form and they were actually coming, getting into consistent grand finals and stuff like that, they're actually one of the scariest Dust2 teams because they were so dynamic on the CT side. They were changing their setup every single time to adjust to what the terrorists are bringing to the table. We haven't seen that much of it with this iteration, but we'll see whether they can actually pick this one up. It'd be a great moral advantage, I guess, after losing the TF battle, where they can get back in this in Pro League and start getting some points together on the league table. Will be 5 sets of armor for Astralis on the CT side, not a kit or any sort of utility available. So, okay, I'll be dope. He opens things up from a shot and towards Get Right Skull, as it's going to be the 5-on-4. NiP adjusting back towards T-spawn, so any objective they had in mind is going to be thwarted at this point, and it'll be exist with the smoke and 2 flashbangs. Deagle and had a forest. Seems like every T-half pistol now we have a Deagle. It's the new thing, and it's only been coming maybe for the last month and a half. It's every team's doing it. So Nico from Outsports, I think, started it, and then Scream started adopting it, and now we're seeing almost every team bring it to the table.
Yeah, it is a bit of a zealous play to make. You got to have confidence for sure in your ability. They're going to boost up Device at the elevator. The one-way lift toward the top of the site. He's backed away. Now, I don't know if that flash was fully in duration toward the player that crossed over. He may have been spotted in this quad. Well, that answers it. Certainly not.
No.
Doesn't matter, does it? Kerrigan's got Forrest back, though. It is just to Michael Lele. They've got a palm down in this, though. Michael's got a shot from far. Remember, Michael should have been dead in all this if Device had hit his shots.
Yeah.
However, it may not matter. Kerrigan, he's already on it, and Dupree, he's just going to defend his teammate while he goes for the full duration, the 10-second defuse, and Astralis will pick up the pistol on the CT side.
Well, at least both teams have had a whiff now on the CT pistol. They've both got it out there and managed to recover this time. Astralis. So having a replay of the whiff, I like it. Mike Lely's like, what the hell's going on here? Turns around, blows his head off with the Glock, but they still win the round, so it's not as devastating as the exist moment at top and middle. 9-7 here, so Astralis winning both pistols here on Dust2, and considering they won the first half as well, you'd think this may just mean a map victory, but it's never going to be that simple. Interesting enough, though, Forrest is brought up with the AK-47 head armor as well, so a lot of pressure on his shoulders. The offensive team won't do it, that's fine. It means in that third round, they do have AKs with just 1 Tech 9. It's not a big deal, to be fair. If Forrest can do some economic damage here, find 2 kills, maybe 3, that sets him in a fantastic position. So it may seem weird that he's just got an AK, but it actually is a little bit of logic behind there as well. Forrest feels like he can really do something and knows the setup of Astralis. Let's see if it works out for him, as he is going to be having some contact towards mid.
Watch that push down, though.
Oh, no.
KRB's timing. He gets down to the bottom of the minute at the exact time they look away. They still have this AK out on exist. Forrest, smartly, like you said, though, 20 HP, armor. Would have been ideal to leave that weapon onto him.
Yeah, the plan's falling apart, as it seems.
To be fair, when you look back at NiP as well. Oh, we're going to watch this bust out toward Kerrigan, though. He's got 2 lined him up, sees them coming through. AK-47 retrieved. Thank you very much. And bomb on my side of the concealed smoke. It's going to be a flash a little bit too deep for Get Right, but he's tagged up. Surely they know. Surely they would have heard it. Either way, it doesn't matter. Kerrigan, he'll get the shot back. There was a round in... I think it was in the final. Yeah, it was in the final against G2 when Get Right had the armor and they got 1 AK. Or, sorry, 1 M4 on overpass. They got the plant down. Pistols protected him, and he was able to kill the diffuser. So it can work, but that time Forrest, he just definitely didn't have.
It's not so much like trying to win the round. It's just trying to make the CTs as weak as possible when you get these AKs out. So actually, they're going to be keeping the money stronger. I was anticipating more AKs to come out this round, but they're actually just going to be trying to keep things a little bit more stable going forward. Not get too deep in terms of the economic game. Device gets the first headshot, but Freiberg responds with a Desert Eagle headshot of his own, and it will be equal exchanges for now. The CTs do get some more contact towards shore. That's Forrest with the PT-50, but Kiabi lighting them up towards middle here, finds the 3K, and now just Forrest. Just to get 1 back, but that's his position. Gavin up at the CT should be round over. Another headshot towards Kiabi, but he finds his 4th kill of the round. 11-7. It's a clean start here for Astralis, but lots of money available for NiP. That's the benefit of not forcing the third. I guess you do get a ton of money and have all the AKs, the AWP, grenades you require as well. And there will be Michael Eddy on the AWP. Similar story for Device as well. He's got a decent long spawn, so presumably he'll be going towards long to stop any sort of rush, any sort of spawn, or boosting his teammates up. That's Zipex going up towards short. Oh no, Device is actually taking it, so he wants to maybe go aggressive here.
That cross back over, I thought Michael might have been able to hit that shot. He was pre-aiming it, but Device, as you said, boosted, well not boosted, but rushing up toward Catwalk, can't find the kill. He gets tagged up as well from the under pass position, underpass. It's getting into my head now. It's the lower B, thank you, as he goes down to 41. Device is now going to change this, though. I like the dynamic position because now they won't know the AWP is here. They might anticipate it. It is common for an AWP to cover mid-round, but the smoke out on the left side, it's Kirby that wants to spray through it. He doesn't have a lineup, and he's got tracers that are far too obvious for Forrest as he'll fire back, and it's first kill to NiP on the gun round. So very important round to get things started off. Flash is over as well. Smoke out early from the CT side. An additional one thrown to allow them to push a little bit further out toward Quad and Kerrigan. Rather than trying to go for the standard positions right now, they don't have a player at long. They're going to leave the AWP to watch that. He's just going to go goose. So he'll allow them to wrap onto the site. So long as Device is playing a reasonably far away position, he's not back close to the CT ramp, he won't be spotted until they wrap so far that Kerrigan can control the peak with that M4. So that's the intention here, is to try and bait them all the way around before he has to show himself. And Device, he doesn't have a lot of room to work with, but he just needs to sit right about this position or tighter to the wall. And he does have a lineup, but they spot him. They just see him. Freiberg, he beats him around the corner, and Kerrigan, he goes to try and make up for it. He gets caught in the process of doing so against Michael. And his Zipex, he's so good at rotating out from CT spawn, but usually when there's people to distract, so he only gets one. And then smokes and Molotovs come in against Astralis, and they'll have a tough time making this work.
Yeah, even with time ticking away, the NiP were quite composed with their A attack. Getting that kill on Device was huge. You could see the angle wasn't quite perfect for himself. Maybe towards Card, that would be more beneficial for him, but he's just trying to get the drop on the first player coming around the corner. Freiberg picks it up, and Dupree and Zipex, once they're smoked out, and the Molotovs are dropped as well, they've made the decision to actually save these weapons. It is 3-0 for them at the moment, but money's not amazing. Zipex, after the investment, only has 900. Kiabi with 1,800. They'll definitely ought to get a buy next round, but saving these weapons will certainly help distribute the wealth, but NiP are hunting this. I'm going to be punished for now. As Dupree finds that first headshot on T-spawn.
And that'll do it. So not a bad decision to save for Astralis, as we know, first gun round. CT side especially, play the long game. They've got the lead still at 11-8.
Who's that top fragging Kerrigan? He's actually having a hell of a game. 22 kills, 11 deaths. Looking incredibly sharp right now. Looking at the frag charts for the other teams. Freiberg actually leading the way for NiP, 15-14. So yeah, continuing that good form from Kiev as we go into round number 5 here on the second half. Yorp is still in the hands of Device. And we'll see whether he can find that first kill. Is Michael going to be doing okay, fast play from Get Right here. This is one of his classic plays. He's pushing for the smoke by himself with the flashbang. Looks amazing with works right now. That looks incredible. If he dies that, it does look like it's a little bit detrimental for his team. But the CT's trying to recover this, reacting towards middle. Forrest takes that kill onto Device, also towards Dupree, but Device now giving his position away. Very difficult situation for them.
Well, and if you go 1 for 1 when you've already got a 2-man advantage, that's not good enough for the CTs. It's still a massive problem as Astralis is left with, as you said, just Device and Kirby. They have rotated Device away from this. They don't have his position covered off now, and Michael gets caught way back toward the platform, and immediately Device isn't going to rest on this. He's going to go back toward mid. He's going to try and change it, try and get a little more dynamic, and Kirby, he's going to do the same toward long, but watch exist. Do they know he's gone toward the pits? That was close to being spotted. Whether or not exist had to hit the shot, that's another story, but Device, they're actually almost pinching them in effect. Watch the position at B, though. This late lurk, Get Right. They know he likes to do this. They've heard him cross. They undoubtedly should have heard this, and they're going to try and bait it out, potentially. Is Device walking down the ramp, or is he not? Because right now, Device is a sitting duck.
In the window, right? So he doesn't know idea Get Right's there. They're making a ton of noise. Get Right just wants to get 1 kill here of 18 HP. Perfect. Done his job.
I thought they heard him because they both looked that direction at the same time.
Yeah,
apparently
but the thing
not.
is, they checked this side with Kiabi at the window as well. He just didn't kind of anticipate Get Right would be that close already, and Get Right just won the round there single-handedly. The long take at the start, found the first 2 kills, and then that great lurk play towards B as well. Very intelligent. One of the smartest players in the game when he's at his absolute best, and that's a perfect round from him. Device now trying to save the AWP. And he probably will do, given the fact that NiP is still just sticking with the bomb and making sure this round is secure before they leave. And I think Get Right's still on the hunt here. You know, he's actually going to be heading towards B tunnels, and that's where Device will be heading as well. His low HP no longer a factor, considering AWP in the hands of Device. He will be on the B ramp, and I think he will get right here. Oh, okay, misses that shot. Now he gets a bit uncomfortable. USB there to finish it off. He is aware he was very low.
Well, now the problem is they saved twice. They're really not going to have much other than this AWP. They'll force pistols around that. Kerrigan, he could actually drop 1 or 2 out. Should drop 1 to Dupree if they wanted to, but it's going to be even more of a problematic situation for Astralis. We're potentially looking at 11 to 10. If NiP can convert this round, and that would be, yeah, I mean, that'd be reasonable for NiP, all things considered, especially when you have to look at the fact that money is so much harder on the Astralis side. Get Right considers throwing the Xbox smoke early. Instead, quick little flash out toward long. Kerrigan's going to play a close angle with this P250. He's elected not to go with armor as well, which isn't surprising.
So this round can be possible when you have these world-class AWPers with the sniper in their hand and pistols around them. They just need to find that 1 kill, reposition, and just keep being a nuisance to the terrorists at this point. You can see Device now, he's working a little bit harder, killing another B, trying to make it happen, but that was the opportunity for us in a really horrible angle there, just to shut down any sort of aggressive approach from the CTs. He hits the headshot, takes down Device with the AWP as well, so now they can actually take their time a little bit. They know the AWP's been taken down at this stage, just allow the CTs to make the next mistake.
Xipix is going to try and watch toward middle as well, but as you say, let the CTs make the mistakes. Even if they don't only have the weapons, so it's not a big deal, but it would be a gift. They'll take it.
Yeah, this Kerrigan pushed along at that point, and you can see that he gets taken down as his body on the screen right now. So that was the mistake they were looking for, and now they will be capitalizing. Holding towards mid, just dissecting short as well. Freiburg leading the way as Dupree is waiting on the A ramp with the P250. Surely can't get much out of this. There it is. Exist takes him down, and that's round secured. So NiP closing the gap to 11-10 here. Looks like it will be going the entire distance. So we'll have a look at the cash for the CTs going forward. So Tuesday loss winners will be the third after this one. So they'll get $2,400 on top of what they have. Yeah, there's a buy available. Kerrigan could get a north if he really has to as well.
Just saving this AK would be lovely, though. 1 versus 5, bomb ticking. They know where he is. That's going to be a challenge.
Yeah,
he's trying to get. Yeah, that's actually smart. He's trying to get 1 kill before they get there to make his chances better. But Get Right somehow able to avoid that as he falls back down the site. Forrest was coming through the tunnels, and Get Right took advantage of the time where Kirby elected to look that direction. As I said, it was going to be a 1-round game. It is now a 1-round game, but as you also mentioned, money back out for Astralis. So too is the weaponry, and Device goes immediately onto the AWP. 2 ops on the NiP side.
Why not? It's something we've seen coming into the CS game quite a lot these days. It means you can run a much slower picking mentality, picking towards B, picking towards long, getting short control, and having someone watch top of middle, for example. There's lots of options for it. And we'll see what they decide to do here. It will be, of course, Michael and Forrest with those weapons. Forrest for now still in T-spawn, looking towards the mid doors, seeing if anyone will dare face. Can be quite tempting for the CTs just to have a face and see what's going on, see if they can get any sort of intel here. And Zipek's a little bit disciplined, though, as KRB backs him up. They're going to go for the NOA stack here, potentially, something we haven't seen in quite a while.
KRB. He's the one boosted, but unfortunately, Exist reads that perfectly, jumps up, crosshair placement was dead on. A headshot against Astralis, who continue to struggle on this CT side, and as a result, well, things going from bad to worse. Device gets caught as well in NiP. They're 5 versus 3 as they start to clear the corners. Flash round toward the stairwell where the Molotov already stacked. Freiburg, he's going to leave the bomb in intention to try and go push them back, to push these CTs, to force them into an awkward position. 3-1. Or rather, 3 members left alive, 2-1 split as they've got 2 on the A site, and this is a very important position. If Kerrigan can at least win this battle, if he can get 1, Exist being the first, it might have given a chance to Zipix to not have so much company, but now he's completely overwhelmed, and Exist from long is going to find him. Dupree, he's dropped bomb temporarily, though. There's 28 seconds in Forest. He's still way back toward middle. They've got to push long, find this kill on Dupree, but they're doing exactly that. Where's the kill coming in? Surely, as the smoke behind him, Dupree, he's got a wall on either side. There it is, finally. I was going to say Exist. He should have been able to see him by that point.
Yeah, Exist actually finds 4 kills there. It's working them up quite slowly, just picking off a player here and there, being absolutely annoying for Astralis there. But as soon as Dupree finds his first 2 kills, yeah, sure, it looks like he's got a chance at that point. But he's actually smoked out a CT spawn. He's got a smoke behind him as well. He's hoping he can take one more kill. It's not really realistic he can actually win the situation there. But we tie things up at 11-11, of course, and it will be PD50s across the board for Astralis. That's all they've really got to work with here. So you'd assume that NiP will be taking the advantage as Get Right faces towards long, gets the first kill as well. Carrigan drops, and there are going to be 2 more CTs at that stage, but I'm not really sure he has to commit at this point. Is it worth it? Let's Get Right. Does look like he's hungry to find more.
Shots in all directions against Astralis, who are slowly losing numbers. They do find a kill on to Get Right. That's all good and well, but that AK guarded by Exists. Then Device tagged down to 42. Good shot from Forrest onto Dupree as he lines up the crosshair, walks out and hits the wall shot. It's pretty straightforward. We discussed that this weekend at Star Ladder as well. And Device, down he goes. Exists the one with the shot. It's 12 rounds now for NiP. They've taken the lead away from Astralis. Convincing fashion as well. Even with Astralis winning this second half pistol, they've yet to convert a gun round.
Yeah, indeed. That's actually both pistols on either side here for Astralis. So that's 6 rounds in the bag, and now they have lost the advantage as well. They are at maximum loss bonus, so do get a nice, healthy buy going into round number 9. It's going to be Device on that AWP once again. Not necessarily boosted up. That's where he's been trying to find some aggressive peaks at the top and middle. But Makaleli working towards B. Can't get that first shot. Smoked out. Very close to landing that second one. But Dupree does live to fight another day here. As we get into potential mid-split as Forrest just walks out towards middle. A lot of teams just knowing they can actually get a lot from that. They actually just face out and not finding a single CT. At least they know where the kind of stack will be coming in. Normally 2 in the B bomb site, 3 on A, and Zipex. Great shot towards the AWP.
So Molotov at door will slow them considerably as Zipex is going to fall back and use an additional smoke at Catwalk. They've already put out that T-side smoke. We talk about that. It seems like a weird smoke because you play it right in front of yourself. To be fair, I've been wondering when teams are going to do this in other sites, and I'll talk about that when I get a point. But it's designed so you can get further into the site, limit the angle that the Opera has, and there you see it. Forrest, by the time he's in vision, he's already at quad, and now he's got a chance to try and line up because you're at the corner. It's also a deeper angle that you could play front to back with and try and control the headshot angle yourself on the T side because there's not much coverage all the way until about here as Forrest on top of the site now has pushed the opposition so far away that it was really just a trap. Exist was waiting. He's got 2. He's been great out toward long this game, and they've got Kirby down. It seems like all NiP at this point, so maybe the Nemesis does convert to the online tally as well.
Well, this was a pretty big investment for Astralis with the AWP, all the nades as well. Still got the maximum loss bonus, but if Dupree can save the weapon, they can sort of buy into it. It won't be fantastic, but that's pretty much his only option here. Dan's got the kit, but only 1 flashbang and 3 players to find. One of them is Forrest, and Exists, to be fair, who seems to be hitting every single shot available here. That was actually really nice from Forrest, using that Molotov to segregate Device back, and then it's applying so much pressure. He's got no real option but to get back to the long doors and reconsider his options. But Exists is working in tandem with Forrest at that point. He comes in for the double spray down just as the CTs are retreating as well. So very well played by NiP, 13-11. And if Freiburg does find him, very valuable kill. They definitely can justify it. I think a pause has to come in this point for Astralis. But just the point is that NiP have around 10k each player or something like that. So it's going to be very easy for them to justify going for the hunt. And that's left Astralis just $3,400 coming to this round. So what's the play here? Do you allow a partial buy to come in? I think that's probably the right call at this stage. If they were to buy into it, it would be a little bit awkward considering they would be on primarily Famises, a couple of M4s. Dupree could drop a glass cannon AWP, but I think take 1 more partial buy. Still can win those rounds with Deagles and body armor, and then try and finish it off before it gets to overtime. Well, before it gets a match point, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, this is another abysmal performance. We talked about G2's CT side on this map. I know we even talked about it so much that last night everyone was in complete agreement that we've over talked about it. We've talked about it too much. We're sick of talking about it. We want it fixed. Astralis is having the same issue on their CT sides on this map. And remember, like you said, they were the best Dust2 team in the world for a time being. Ooh. They had a very established metagame, and they've gone back to something entirely different. Now, I like the Device is trying to be a little more dynamic, but it seems like they're catching themselves in their own rotations. And tonight, specifically, they're losing the individual battles. Exist is taking long from them, and that's a huge part of the A-side defense. Yeah. You're right about this force buy, though.
They're just leaving a lot to be desired. It's like, it's not the exciting kind of dynamic team game overall, which we used to see from Astralis. Like I said before, they're always changing the setups and having like different ideas and locking down whatever tier approach the opposition will bring into the table. We can see mid's quite an easy option for NiP, pushing them back there, then splitting A almost every single time. They're finding those picks pretty easily. So the force comes in. Looking on paper, it's okay, right? They've got 5 rifles, one of which is an AWP as well, but just 2 players without any sort of armor. So Dupree, no armor at all. Device, no armor. 1 kit, 3 smokes, no incendiaries, no HEs. It's just really, really difficult situation for them as we go into round number 10. And this one, NiP know the money's low. They want to feel out the situation first and see what kind of setup's going to be coming in. So Device on the AWP, actually having a pretty quiet game for his standards. It's not bad, 17 kills, but we'll see whether he can find anything here. This is better though, going a little bit more proactive, trying to hunt towards long doors, actually getting a more aggressive angle here. Jumps across to see if anyone's waiting for him, bait out a shot. Not going to be there for now, so he set up the turret towards long. His teammate probably can justify falling back at this stage. Carrigan just starts to edge back. Mid play though, Forest loves hunting his position, gets flashed in by his teammate as well. Doesn't find anything for now, so at least he's got intel that the CTs don't have possession of mid.
Forest getting on the catwalk, though. Remember, this is where the problems have occurred, exist. He's been winning this battle. That smoke lands right in the middle. Looks like there was a bit of a gap the Device might have been able to play off of, but it wasn't an ideal one to try and get so close to the wall that he's got to shuffle peek every single time with the AWP. No smoke this time to walk around it to get all the way to quad, but due to the positions they get there, no problem, and exactly that. The flash just obliterates Device.
You could see him, it's like, well, I'm done for now, I'll just take a shot in a couple of seconds, but he dies before it even happens. This is a full save coming in. So Astralis, after losing 1 frag, it is like, you know what, we can't win this anymore. We need that AWP, we need Device even finding at least 1 kill. So let's fall back, and like I said before, NiP, so much money available here. They're just absolutely high rolling right now. Michael Eddie, even after this buy, still got about 12k. So they're going to be looking for the CTs anywhere they can. I think one person will be staying with the bomb for obvious reasons. That will be Michael Eddie with the AWP, and you can see them actually going a little bit of a hunt here. See if they can lock down any saving CDs. Just 1 or 2 kills would be great, just to start shutting down Astralis going forward. Oh, yeah. I think this one is Carrigan now.
I don't mind this call to go for this. I mean, you're getting into the later stages of the game. You've got to almost take your 50-50 odds, save, go for it. Can you win the round? That's a problem. They lost 2 right at the end. Forrest and Freiburg, they may lose more. Nope, Exist stays alive. They lost. So they commit to the save. They split themselves up in an awkward fashion and lose the majority of the guns as a result. That's an issue. Because I was going to say, you've almost got to take sort of the 70-30 odds and play the passive game, especially at 14. Now that it's on 14, you've got to go. A little bit different. You can't play for overtime, especially when you've elected to save and do pre-tagged. I don't know what else we can analyze. They're just getting beat everywhere at this point in time. They're losing duels, they're losing damage, they're losing everything.
Yeah, not finding a single gun around here while it's being ground down. It's just be a B rush. Dupree's got low HP, and a scout to hold them off. Does manage to land a shot on towards Forest, but his teammate Alkiabi just throws a smoke into the door. Doesn't actually give him any freedom to move whatsoever. The smoke is a little bit too deep to even allow him to get it to the side. There's a big gap in it as well, so this is pretty ugly now for the CTs. The bomb is in T-spawn for now, coming towards the tunnel, so that's some good news in. They're going to flash through, hope for the best. It's the YOLO play, the Hail Mary. They do manage to get the first headshot towards Forest as well. Looking for the second. It's quite an equal exchange so far, and Zipex coming up pretty good here. There will be a 2-on-2, so this play has relatively been successful. And they have done damage to Exist and Michael Eddie as well. So before even bombs even planted, it's going in and trying to have that surprise factor.
Kerrigan's going to rotate around on this. The smoke's just dissolved, and Michael, I don't think, is aware of it. He was a sitting duck.
But Exist is not looking towards the tunnel at all. He just doesn't think it's a possibility. Repositions now to a safe position in the platform.
He'll be behind the box in its entirety as Michael goes for the plant and the peek. Exist now has the information, but Kerrigan's got the kill. Now they've got a round finally, as Device will walk in and Michael Lilly will go down. It's going to go to 14-12. Reset potential a factor. 2 players stay alive, so thankfully they grab an AWP out of all this.
Yeah, but still the buy isn't going to be pretty. But yeah, if 2 players is good, it's fine, it's workable, especially when they have the AWP as well. So it won't be the best buy, but the thing is, if they do lose this round map and all 5 players die, that's pretty much GG's. You are fully reset, and then with so much cash, going to shut you down and just keep applying this pressure going forward. So the buy's not too bad. You can see they've got the AWP, 4 rifles as well. So just Zipex with no grenades at all. So we'll see whether Michael can do any damage here at the start. Looks like he may want the face as the nade comes in towards the top of middle. They're thinking about it. Device, do you dare challenge? As he starts thinking, he's just looking towards the top right and middle for now, using that smoke towards the door to give him a bit of shielding. As we got a complete default here from NiP. Michael Eddie still in T-spawn, hoping he gets a challenge, but giving away his position now as he starts firing off shots with the door.
Kirby, couple quick stutter steps with that AK-47. Trying to teach him how to Dougie, but that doesn't really work out. 16 HP for Device. How many times are they going to lose this early exchange on pop shots from NiP? Flash goes over. Michael will put himself closer once more with this AWP position. And, you know, we talk about recent form. NiP, after winning Star Ladder, this was their toughest challenge throughout the event. You could argue the final one map on Overpass was tough, but Cash obviously wasn't. Yeah, exactly. But as a series, a 2-1 split, Astralis was the only one to get a map off them. It does have a decent scoreline, but I have to say this half has been extremely underwhelming. And then NiP's just taken the fight to them in so many ways and continue to look good, continue to look among the top of the leaderboards. And Kierby does manage to pick up a kill. Zipix will go down immediately after, but Kierby's holding off just a little bit longer as the bomb gets dropped long enough, in fact, to allow Kerrigan to shuffle back up the ramp. And is it going to be 2 rounds in succession for Astralis late? Good pickup from Get Right as he goes down and reads it like a book. Dupree never saw it coming as the flash in hand is going to put him down. 12 seconds. He's got to go immediately window, jump through and plant the second he arrives. Kerrigan's going to get on top of him. Get Right can't take the fight. He's got to go. He's going to turn back because he gets tagged up. And as soon as Kerrigan sees that, gone. Round over. Kerrigan just sits in the spawn, and it will be another round for Astralis.
So either way, Kerrigan can't done the kill, but he's done enough damage to actually slow down Get Right significantly. Can't plant, stays in CT spawn as well. So that was actually a really intelligent play from Get Right there. Gets that kill in CT spawn, but he had to be more assertive. He was hoping Kerrigan was going to face from the crossover at that point. The problem is, didn't go for it at all. He actually bought his time very nicely and chose the perfect moment to strike and finds again towards that window area. So good work from Kerrigan to finish things off. And it is 14-13. We said this game was going to get a distance, man. It certainly is. As we are entering round number 13 of the second half here. No orbs available for Astralis, but they have got a decent buy going forward. Not many grenades, but they have got the weaponry. Still money available for NiP going forward. Probably got one more buy in the bank, but still breaking point for Astralis. Need to win this round. Goes without saying if they want to even have a chance of seeing overtime out.
It's Freiburg just looking for information at the top of middle. As we say Astralis, they start to pull this back. Just game 1 of the night. Feels later in the evening than it actually is tonight for some reason. Maybe it's just the pace of this game. These two will face off again immediately after. Forced the flash over. Device not caught by that. He's got Zipix behind. 2 M4s on the A site. Stacked together in succession. First smoke getting ready to go. Michael Lilly, this will likely be the long smoke that we talk about at the corner.
Yeah, well, Forrest and Get Right going towards long themselves. So what's the play here? The smokes will be deployed.
Yeah,
let's see whether this actually locks the CTs out.
Well, there's that bounce smoke Michael Lilly just threw, so that's going to cover off the long player. That is Kerrigan. He's not going to be in the mix here just yet. There is 2 players on the T side trying to push into that long position to take it away from him. Good read for Device, though. Catches Zix dropping down, and Zipix, that crossfire setup, that 1-2 punch in the site works. All 3 on the A side get a kill, but NiP pull 2 back as Forrest and Michael Lilly find somewhat of a response. However, it's just Forrest remaining now in a 1 versus 3. Spots the head of a player on the platform, but that's not going to be his problem. The problem is Kirby down towards CT spawn. 14-14, so it takes a while to get there, but Astralis finally have an answer.
Yeah, 3 rounds in a row after losing like 7, I think. So Astralis do tie things up, and there still is money available for NiP. I think we have a pause coming in for the Swedish side this time, so they're working out what the problem has been in the last few, but it's just been great A-holds from Astralis. That one was no different. That was actually a full execute from NiP at that point. We saw the Molotovs being dropped onto the site, actually landed in the feeder device as well. The smokes were coming in, but they just weren't actually having that kind of synergy. They didn't get the opening frags, and Zipex and Device finding their first 3 kills, and then actually over to holding off towards long as well. So actually a good response after their pause, no less. They actually managed to start getting some rounds on the board. NiP, though, 1 more to get overtime, but still Astralis actually surprisingly in with a shot of winning this map still.
Yeah. I'm actually impressed that they pulled this back, because for a while it looked pretty dreadful. And you and I were both discounting their chances in that regard. As soon as I said the word nemesis, apparently I broke the curse, because that's when they started to have this comeback happen.
Absolutely. Well, it is a tactical pause around NiP. Just take the foot off the pedal for a second and just work out how they can break down the defenses.
It's impressive that we're over the halfway season already. Halfway point in the season already as well.
How many weeks are there? We're in week 4 right
there's
now,
a set. It used to be a set duration of 8 weeks, but it kind of gets scattered now, and teams stack up games. You know, 1 week when they've got more time.
7 weeks, right?
Yeah, they're about. I think I may even be sure. I don't know if there is an 8th week this year or not, but that's how the schedule is intended to work. There's just so much going
Here
on
we
that
go.
teams have to adapt.
Astralis playing to win. They said this is their new objective going forward. They're not going to turtle up and allow NiP to do what they want. They've used this pause themselves to actually come up with a new setup. It's going to be Device boosted towards short. This is a problem. They're missing that first shot. Get right wants to come with the double spray down. Good nade so to hold him off, and a Molotov as well. So looked a bit scary, but they managed to negate him for now.
Get right backed off on that very early, perhaps expecting that they were still facing when they rounded back the corner, knowing they couldn't get away. Doesn't elect to take the fight. Remains, well, it did remain 5 versus 5. But Kerrigan gone at long. Xipix smokes himself in at the car. They're going to know he's here. Michael's trying to find it. Double smoke. There's a slight gap. He gets spotted, and Michael's found the kill. It's NiP with a 2-man advantage now, finally to work toward this A site. As Caribbean gets caught, rotating back towards CT. It's Freiburg, and it's all NiP as Dupree goes down. Device 1 versus 5. AWP in hand. He's already over toward the B site, and he's desperate to hold on to this because they're going to have to play for overtime. NiP, they'll just finally get that elusive 15th round.
Well, there it is. It takes a pause, and of course that works out for them, as it's going to be NiP with the fast A attack as Get Right towards short. We saw Astralis going for that stack, trying to adjust their own game, maybe overanalyzing it themselves, and Get Right just runs in with the simple play. And I thought he did the double spray down, but he's making things very difficult for them to hold on to. We'll have a look at the cash going into the next round. It's actually going to be a really difficult buy now for Astralis in round number 30. They're going to have maybe 2.5K average overall, maybe a bit less than that, in fact. So what have we got then? To NiP. Drawn it out with a perfect opportunity here just to close it out as we have 2 Famases, 2 CZs, and 1 5.7 in the hands of Carrigan. So might not be a scout, which is interesting. Surely he's got enough money for an AK-47. Definitely does. This can drop one. There it is. He just went for the initial shot. Doesn't take any damage for now.
Quick pop from Get Right. 2 Famases. We'll see if the FAMAS can be famous and make a play to get this game to an additional 6 rounds. I guess a minimum of an additional 4 rounds, Henry, if we wanted to get technical about that.
Indeed.
Forrest trying to find the opportunity here.
Looks like the contact B play for now, but Michael is being a bit apprehensive to his play. Forrest, he might find himself dead here if he overcommits with the AWP, and Zikiabi's boosted up on the box. Almost certainly going to be going down. He actually avoids it, doesn't overcommit, and now they will be falling back. He's hunting for information towards middle. Device holding in spawn. I assume he's boosted up on the CT boxes there. I can't actually see for now. No, he's not. So he's just going to be smoked out and decides to fall back. A ton of gap there on the smoke. Get holding towards long. You see the CT has no nades really whatsoever. Xipix, the only one, any substantial utility with a smoke in his hand. His first kill.
Because this was so close to walking out a new headshot potential. Device was about centimeters away, I would say, of getting the kill. I always feel weird using real measurements to talk about a pixelated measurement, like a distance.
It does translate somehow.
It does. There is a units ratio, but it seems weird, right? How do we know it's accurate? How do we know it's real if my eyes are not real? Forrest with 2 on the way through with an AWP. That was a great start for NiP, and they've got this back down to a very quick 2 versus 2 as Exist finds one on his way through, but Forrest has to hold the window. He's elected to get rid of the AWP. And holding the window would make you ho war, not ho door. They're going to have to hold both. It's going to be Forrest on top of the box. Does find one. He's isolated the second player, and he's got Xipix. I don't know why the repick didn't come in, but he had to go for the reload, but it doesn't work out as he gets tagged on the way through, and Forrest will do it alone. It's going to be 16-14 for NiP in the end.
Bit of a tense situation there to finish things off. We had 2 Famases and 3 pistols. Comes down to the 1v1. Forrest, 1 bullet's taken down as well, but they managed to pick it up. Astralis had both pistols, some pretty unfortunate gun rounds as well. Just lost too many in a row. NiP looking very strong. Both pauses, though, from either side, actually equaling into round 1 after that. So there's still something about those pauses we can't quite work out, you know?
Yeah, and there's something about the disorganization of Astralis that they just don't seem to be winning battles and covering each other off like they used to on their CT sides. They used to be very good with utility, and we talked about Xipix specifically on this map as the best support player in the world. Even he was a little bit off with his timings tonight. Yeah. We saw Dupree get caught by Get Right rotating over, and switch that to the other side. The rotations from NiP were quite good.
Well, we've got a desk over there to talk about it. So Alex, you lovely man. And some Australians. Why don't you talk us through it?
Thank you very much. Alex and the Aussies here.
We don't have desks in Australia.
No? What do you have? Just like
kind of... turn a beer crate over.
Yeah, a Foster's, of course, yeah. Or any other brand, of course.
We love a Foster. Good one. Yeah.
You were telling me that was a right ripper. Good game.
Yeah, Carrigan had a ball terror. of a game, but unfortunately they still lost.
I mean, yes, and I think actually, Mitch, you were talking to me just before you came on. You were saying, right, okay, I said Astralis would win. In fact, both of our panelists actually suggested that this was going to go the way of the Danes, and it could very well have. I mean, it was right down to the wire, 16-14. You outlined Kierby as your one to watch, the influencer there, and it's not like he wasn't present, but was that what you were looking for?
Well, honestly, yeah, I think that was kind of one of the conditions that Astralis had ticked, that Kierby wasn't terrible, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, he played through mid there and actually had some decent rounds, picking up a couple and controlling. I think there were like 4 or 5 situations though where Device, you know, is missing out on these early round pick opportunities throughout this game. Just after the tack pause there, we saw that round coming back in, which was the one that Astralis had to win, of course. Device goes for a pick towards short, misses it, has to molly him back away. Then Carrigan dies at long, and then Zipnix gets caught at the car on long as well. So it's like 3 people just dead to rights pretty much straight away. And
that was fresh off of the tactical pause, of course, from NiP. What were your main observations though from that gameplay? Was there anything that you wanted to kind of highlight in particular?
So I think like round 9, it was a 5v3 in favour of Astralis, and they managed to lose it. And they looked scared. They didn't want to take a duel. Like they took 3 guys out long, and there was only 1 guy on the long corner. I think it was Freiburg, and it was a 3v1 basically. If they took duel, 1 guy stepped out, he lost, and then nobody else wanted to fight, and they just looked scared. And I was really confused. I was like, okay, well, you trade your teammate, and you just go through the motions and slowly trade out and take the bomb site. They didn't want to trade out. And also on that CT side, like Mitch was mentioning, Device missing shots. It seemed like they were scared. They didn't want to be there to take the fight. So like, hopefully someone else will kill them. And it looked like it let them down, being scared.
And I mean, especially after what was a generally convincing first half from Astralis, you did see them fall back onto the CT side, and they didn't look particularly structured. I mean, okay, so they got the first 3 rounds off the pistol, and then they got 3 more. So basically 6 rounds on CT side after winning the pistol on Dust2. That's not good enough.
They didn't win a gun round in 11 rounds in the second half.
Right.
So it took them 11 rounds to actually get there. Obviously, there's only, not all of those are gun rounds, but I mean, and the gun round that they did win was like a 2v2 after plant situation. So your money is never ever getting to a point where you can actually do something with it and have decent utility, and also have enough to go for after plant situations as well. We saw so many times that, especially when NiP were winning those rounds, is that Astralis comes in but severely lacking utility. Kierby had to walk through his own smoke there and almost got lost halfway through. Still managed to get a couple of kills on the site. That was probably one of the rounds where it was closest for Astralis on the retake. But in general, they never really seemed like they had the resources to work with on the field, these CT side rounds.
Yeah, and yet still remains so close. Maybe they'll be able to crack the code on overpass, which we'll be talking about after our break. If you do want to get the load on and just exactly how Dust2 did play out, you want to see just how many frags Carrigan did get. We already said it was a, what was it again?
Ball terror.
It was a ball terror. I'll let you go ahead and try and Urban Dictionary that one. But do be sure to head over to the Score Esports application available on your smartphone, and of course enables you to check the stats. You can see 27 next to Carrigan's name and all of those good stuff. So go grab that. And when we do return, it'll be overpass between Astralis and NiP.